With an exclusive press conference announcing the album release and tour date information for a new British band whose membership includes musicians who form the cornerstone of one of England's classic rock bands. They are John Anderson, Bill Bruford, Rick Wakeman and Steve Howe, now known collectively as Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman Howe. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
I first better mention there's three voices there, and that is John Anderson, Steve Howe and Bill Bruford. Rick Wakeman is up in Edinburgh, Scotland today, looking after all the Scottish fans of this band.
Hello, everybody.
Well, before we give you the news of why we're here with this live press conference, I'd like to find out, first of all, how this band came together. John, if you will, John Anderson, tell us how this lineup of musicians came together.
Well, actually, last year, that was in 1988, midsummer, I was out in Greece and enjoying a little sojourn and writing some songs. I realized that I'd spent a lot of time in America, in Los Angeles, and that my main musical aims weren't being fulfilled. And I felt that maybe it was a good time to get back to the roots that I'd started in the 70s. And I just needed a couple of phone calls to find out if Steve and Bill and Rick might be just available to try out an idea or talk about music and just really discuss the potential of getting together again. And that's really how it happened. It was more a question of finding us all in the right space of time at the right time. So when we got in touch with each other, I think we all collectively realized that, hey, now was the time to work together again. And it just came about that way. It wasn't predestined. It was just something that started to happen. And as soon as you start the ball rolling and you realize it's coming from your heart, the idea, musically and from a career, professionally wise, you know, all the doors start to open, and that's basically what happened.
Well, I know that Coming Together has produced a debut album, which we're very excited to be playing some extracts from in a few moments. It's going to be released on Arista Records in the US on June 8th. Now, do you know what the catalogue number for that album is? Does it happen to be 90126, possibly?
Yeah.
All right, without more ado, let's announce the important US and Canadian tour dates. I think, John, you've got the first East Coast dates running through to Pittsburgh.
You've got the first couple of months there, John.
This is where we start round about the 29th of July, which sounds good because it's going to be nice and warm in midsummer. We're going to be down in Memphis, Tennessee, in a place called Mud Island. And then on the 30th of July, we're playing a place in Atlanta, Georgia, Chastian Park. The 31st, hey, we got a day off.
Yeah.
That's all right now.
Day off.
We're okay now.
Get some sleep.
And then the 1st of August, do I read all these sort of things?
Yeah, whip through them, mate.
Whip through them, he says. The 1st of August, we're going to play at Norfolk, Virginia at the Sculp Arena. The 2nd of August, we're going to play at the Fairgrounds, York, PA. And then the 3rd of August, we're going to be in wonderful Philadelphia, which is sort of a homecoming, I think this will be for us to play there. We're playing at the Spectrum, so all you Philadelphians, hopefully there's one or two listening, come and see the show because I believe it's going to be wonderful. And then we're playing the day after on the 5th of August, we're playing the Merriweather Post, Columbia. I remember playing there many times.
Yeah, I remember hearing you play Close to the Edge there.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
With the John Anderson group.
That's true.
With King Crimson.
That's true, Bill.
I was performing upon the traps, drums, for King Crimson, and you were with the John Anderson group at the time,
true.
playing Close to the Edge, with a young gentleman in a black leotard on the drums.
Oh, yes. He's now an actor. Such a short life.
Moving right along now.
On the 6th of August, we're playing at Mansfield, MA. I don't know what MA stands for.
Massachusetts. Yeah.
We're playing at Great Woods of Mansfield on the 6th of August. On the 7th of August, we're going to go swimming. We're having a day off. And on the 8th of August, we're playing the Riverfront Park, Manchester,
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, he says. NH we got here. On the 9th of August, I hope somebody's got a pen in America and writing these now.
Well, we'll be able to tell our audience, people listening in North America and Canada, exactly how to find out when the concerts are on again, and also how to get their tickets later in the program.
Okay. Well, here we go again. On the 9th of August, we're playing at the Orange County Fairgrounds, Middleton, New York. On the 10th of August, we're playing Jones Beach in Wantagh, New York. And on the 11th of August, we're playing at Seashore EAC at Old Orchard Beach, ME. What's ME?
Maryland?
Maryland.
Possibly?
No.
On the 12th of August, we're playing at Hartford Civic Center. On the 13th of August, we're playing at Garden State Arts at Homedale, New Jersey. Come on, you guys, New Jersey.
Yeah, I've been there before.
And you got a final date in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, John, I think.
Oh, we're going to play at that pawn shop on the corner. Oh, no, sorry.
The flea shop.
Right. No, we're going to play in the Palumbo Center, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I'm reliably informed Old Orchard Beach is in Maine, in New England.
That's right, that's on the 15th of August.
That's right.
So all you people who've got nothing to do in August, come and see the show.
Right. Well, coming from Pittsburgh, crossing the Ohio River, Bill Bruford, you've got dates for the Midwest.
Yeah, with John and Steve too, I hope.
Of course.
And
Maybe.
Rick also. The 16th, we're at the Blossom Music in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. 17th, Cuyahoga Country Fairgrounds, Weedsport, New York. I'm not, do you know Weedsport well, John?
Very well.
18th, Darien Lake, Darien, New York. 19th, Pine Knob. 20th, Poplar Creek, Hoffman Estates. That's a special place in my heart, that one, actually. It's rained out the last time I tried to play that one. The entire northwestern part of Chicago had a major thunderstorm. No power, King Crimson cancelled. So, forgive me. 21st, off. 22nd, Toronto, Canada. Played there before. 23, Civic Centre, Ottawa. 24, Colisée, Quebec City, Canada. 25th, Forum, Montreal, Canada, which I remember with Genesis. 26th, 27th, off. 28th, the Summit in Houston, Texas. 29th, Starplex in Dallas, Texas, the big two.
Then, thanks, Bill. Moving north now, Steve Howe. Okay. And you pick up dates in Kansas City, Missouri, I believe.
Okay, well, the 31st, we're at the Sandstone, Kansas City. And I remember looking out on my hotel room with a similar feeling to Bill, wondering if the rain is going to keep me from playing. I think we did actually get there last time. And then on the very 1st of September, we're in Red Rocks, Denver. I remember that very well from Asia. Park West, then Salt Lake City is on the 2nd. And then we have a day off, so I won't mention any more about that. And then on the 4th, we're at the Open Air Theater San Diego.
Yo.
So we're in California now, aren't we? And the 5th, we have a day off and nobody sees us, but we get time to rest. And then we get on to the 6th of September, and we're at the Greek Theater LA. Need I say more? And then the 8th is at the County Bowl, Santa Barbara. We're hitting California quite nicely here. Not on the 9th, then we're at the Cal Expo, Sacramento. And then on the 10th, we finish up, and the final gig on this leg is going to be Shoreline Amphitheater, Mountain View, California.
And what a great show that's going to be.
Sounds really good.
It does. Now, there are the dates. If you're worried you missed a date in your area, don't worry. The radio station you're now tuned to for information will have information on when tickets go on sale for the concert in your area. You're listening to a live press conference from London with Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman Howe. I'm Mel Redding. Let's now go back across the Atlantic to our New York studios for a special treat. Here is an exclusive preview of the Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman Howe album that will be released on June 8th. Live in London from the Kensington Place restaurant, and that was an exclusive preview of the debut album by Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman Howe. Wow, they're great tracks, and it's so good for you guys to be back again together. Steve, what's it for you? What does it mean for you musically to be back, and also, I guess, socially, to be back with mates of yours from a band that was really the founding father of classic rock, in a way?
It was. What a build-up. How can I follow that?
Yeah.
It feels good, and full of expectations and full of promise. And, of course, it's nice to be in a situation with people that you knew and loved, and you're doing it again. It's an interesting experience. It's not something you want to do as a hobby, like trying to dig up everything you did and doing it again. But I think this opportunity is very, very special because of what we achieved together at that time, which was, for me, 70s to 80s, and John earlier, and Bill shorter, and that sort of thing. So generally, we were all mucking in there for that time. And, of course, coming back together, you remember some of that, and some of it flashes back. And hopefully it's going to be a nice apocalyptic sort of event,
right,
where we're coming back together, we're doing this, and it should give us all a good feeling.
Well, what has changed in music since the four of you? I know Rick Wakeman is up in Scotland, but I know he's here in spirit. He's up there entertaining the Scottish fans that will be seeing the band in concert there later on. But what has happened since you guys have been apart is technology has really revolutionized music. And Bill Bruford on drums, you've got a computerized drum system now that's incredible.
Yeah, well, let's just be careful with this nasty word, computer. I mean, what that sounds like, I don't even show up at the gig. This is not
cardboard
true.
cutout of you.
What a computer does is allow you to bring the 95 drums that John Anderson obviously would like me to play without having to have a separate 747 to fly them in. So a computer just stores tons of different drum sets and drum sounds which I can access just like that. Did you get that? So for me it's a very exciting challenge, these developments that I've been workshopping and woodshedding with my own bands over the last few years. Occasionally, once every decade, they spill over into mega rockdom, into rock and roll industry, and the rock and roll industry grows in size and says, "Oh no, not Bill again with his bloody drum set."
When John introduced the way that the four of you got back together again, he mentioned he made one or two phone calls.
One or two,
but actually, I think you were dragged out of bed in Tokyo, Japan for this gig.
I was minding my own business, in November in Tokyo, and suddenly, it's telex this and phone call that, and this bloke called Fred Anderson, going on the phone, on your telephone.
Doing anything for the next 2 years, please.
Sure, and it just got me at exactly the right time.
Right.
I had a feeling that I was making sounds that were suitable for the big stage.
Well, despite this debut album about to launch itself on the world, this is not the end of the story at all. You've got a lot of work ahead of you, John. You've got rehearsals to come. This major tour you're getting ready for. Yeah,
actually, we're going to be seeing Roger Dean's design for the stage tomorrow, and Mike Tate is here, who was one of the real revolutionary lighting guys of the 70s, who worked very close with the band in its earlier, close to the edge times, fragile, topographic. That was Mike Tate on lights, and he's here today.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him for years, and...
well, you haven't, I have.
Well, you've seen him one or two times, but we haven't seen him, say, as a group, and I'm trying to hustle him to get the lights for this stage show, because one of the things that I firmly believe in is that this is a group of musicians that want to perform on stage. We've made an album of music. That's the most important thing. We made an album of musical ideas, and we want to perform them on stage and project on stage, bring them to life and make them really kick out on stage.
But now, you see, in 1989, this is the point, I think. For me, I'm not big on this nostalgia and this kind of reunion business too much. What I'm really interested in is the distance traveled between whenever it was, 68, 69 when we first met,
sure,
and 1989. So if we play any of the old tunes on the set, which no doubt we will, the interest for me is in how they've grown and changed.
Steve, Roger Dean, now he's working on the stage design. He's also responsible for the album sleeve. I know you've been working with him on previous albums, haven't you?
Yeah, Roger and I have had, quite a good relationship, and there's a bit of a giggle going on here, I can't ignore it.
What kind of relationship is that?
Yeah, that kind of relationship is that we're both married and got kids, and we're just good friends.
You've been working with him on previous albums in different bands.
It was very interesting. After actually stopped using him, I think, for going for the One and then Tomato, he then came back to do drama, and that certainly started Roger and I up again, thinking that working together was great fun, and then he did two covers, in fact 3 for Asia, one of which I didn't appear on, and then this is getting great. So Roger's a very unique artist, and he came through very strong with us, and it's not surprising then that we feel at home with him, pulling him back into work with this unit, because he's the right visual guy for us, and he doesn't have to say, with some projects he's done in between Yes and this present time, he's been asked to not look like Yes, you see. And Roger told him, oh, that was nice. Not on my head, thank goodness. The nice thing for Roger this time was that nobody said, purposely avoid it looking like Yes, and also it was impossible for it not to represent some of that imagery in his natural style. So, in his natural surroundings, so to speak, he's come up with two pictures which our radio audience unfortunately can't see, but
they're fabulous,
can,
aren't
and they're huge 9 by 6 paintings.
Speaking of Yes, radio stations and fans in the US are already calling this the new Yes band. What do you think about that, John Anderson?
Well, I think that when people hear the record and they'll see us on stage, they'll know who we are. And it's very difficult to have to go through this period of time where people say you cannot use the name. We never intentionally wanted to in the first place. We decided that we were going to be a group, and we were just going to call ourselves our names, and that was the way it was. I think the more we're told that we can't use the name from a business point of view, the more we feel, well, hey, it doesn't matter, because people will know who we are. And they'll hear it. They'll just hear it on the album.
The album was recorded in the Caribbean, right?
Actually, it started in Paris.
It started in Paris, and then you went to the West Indies or the Caribbean.
Montserrat.
And pieced together the album.
London.
And then back to London. And then
back to New York.
Mixed it up in New York at Bearsville. It was a round-the-world trip. It was a lot of fun to be able to spend time. See, the idea is that when we were working together on it in Paris, it's a very enclosed situation. We were there together, and then we could have a little break from each other, and then get back together in Montserrat, have a bit of a break again, work in London, have a bit of a break again, and then, mix it, and...
Sounds like we got a lot of breaks, John.
Yeah, we need it. Well,
because of the way we work intensely.
The thing I
work in big shots,
The thing I feel from you, John, though, is this thing's been bubbling up inside of you for about 5 years, don't you think?
True.
I get the feeling that you've been sort of hovering and lurking at the background.
Waiting for that moment
Waiting somehow for something to happen.
It was a surprise for me. I've said this before, that when we've been meeting on and off over the years, me and Bill and Steve and Rick, and it's just a very big surprise to me that I'd actually plucked up the courage to ask them to get involved again, because it's not an easy thing to do collectively. You've got to down tools on a lot of projects individually to make the collective idea work.
Sure.
And now we're talking about going on tour. It's a big thing to do together, and it's something that we know we've got to pull it off for our own peace of mind, if you like.
That whole idea of you recording separately and together in different parts of the world, that's something that's run through your careers. So when you worked together before, you were always individuals within a group framework, weren't you?
Yeah.
I think so. For me, 18 years ago, or whatever it was, that made the group very difficult because of very strong characters and strong characteristics in the group. And I think it's just infinitely more relaxing now, but that's probably a change in myself, having learned to be a bit more flexible, which means I'll do anything, guys.
We've all become very flexible, very kind of rubbery.
We had a sneak preview, an exclusive sneak preview on the West of One radio networks of the new album.
That was just a little clip.
Just a snippet.
Just a clip here, a clip there, just to give a taste of the sound and the effort.
Consciously or unconsciously, do you think you've tried to put a trademark on it of sounds, of lyrics, John?
It's a natural event.
Yeah.
You make music and you cannot stop it. It just, all of a sudden, songs that Steve would bring and I'd sing, and then all of a sudden those rhythm ideas musically. It wasn't difficult to make the music. That's not the difficult part. Probably the difficult part, if there is going to be one, is performing it and making it sound fantastic on stage. But to put the record together was a lot of fun.
What songs are you going to be performing? Have you worked the set out yet?
Actually, we're going to talk about that in the next couple of days. And one of the things that we really spoke about when we first got back together to talk about touring and stuff was if there's any chance of doing things like Close to the Edge, Starship Trooper, I've Seen Other People, these are the songs that we wrote together. And there's a feeling we should perform them, and we should really get it together. And so it'll be half the music we did with the Yes in the 70s, and half will be the new album. And that's the kind of show we'd like to do. Obviously, I think you've got very individual talents within the group, so that there'll be certain times that Steve will want to perform by himself, Rick will do the same, Bill will do the same. And I think it's important, a little bit.
That suits me well, because that's how you get the measure of the distance traveled.
Sure.
So you hear something that was designed 20 years ago, and you see how it's treated now, and then further on, you get some of the music that was designed yesterday, and you hear that. So you get, one of the nice things about having been around for 20 years is that you can get that kind of longevity across a set of music.
Great. Bill Bruford, Steve Howe, John Anderson, thanks for joining us in London here at the Kensington Place restaurant. Sorry that Rick Wakeman couldn't make it down from Scotland, but he's there in spirit, entertaining the Scottish fans who'll be seeing the band playing Edinburgh, right? Scottish National Exhibition Centre, I think it's called up there.
Yeah, we're going to be up in England doing stuff in Scotland
and Europe,
across in Europe. And thanks a lot, Mel, too, from all of us.
Pleasure.
Yeah, Mel.
Great. He's a pro.
Pleasure. Now, what's the show going to be called? Are you going to give it a name, or are you just going out as your individual names?
Well, I think that from a publicity point of view, there was a definite feeling that we can't lie to the audience. We're going to go over there and perform some music in America and in Europe and the rest of the world. A lot of it will be Yes music, and I think that they should realize... it's a funny thing. If we say we're not going to play Yes music, then there's a possibility that a lot of fans wouldn't come and see us. But if we say we're going to play some Yes music, there's a possibility that we're going to get into a little trouble. But all we're thinking about is playing good music. Some of it will be that we wrote in the 70s, and a lot of it will be the new album. So, and possibly a lot of it will be adventurous stage presence music.
John Anderson, thanks very much. And thanks to the three of you for telling us about your debut album and the United States tour, which begins in Mud Island, Memphis, Tennessee on the 29th of July. Be sure to listen to this station for ticket information for the concert in your area. Many thanks to Brian Lane, Pete Smith, ably assisted by Diane and Sheila, and thanks also to the engineer at this end, Aidan Gregory. For the Westwood One Radio Network's executive producer Norm Pattis, producer Andy Denmark in New York, David Knight in London, and thanks to Warren Vanderveer, Steve Jenkins, and Steve Soul. And finally, my biggest thanks to the boys in the band, John Anderson, Bill Bruford, Rick Wakeman, and Steve Howe. Watch them on tour in the States this summer.
All right, settle down. Hey, settle down. Enough. I haven't done anything yet.
There's your Eric Clapton sign over there, I guess that is.
Bill is a deity of some nature. Extraordinary thing to say at this time of day.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
How's it been going? How's the tour?
I
don't know. We haven't been doing it. We just
No.
We got holograms.
We did it. It's fine. We've been somewhere like Memphis, and we've been Atlanta, we've been Harrisburg.
But tonight.
Oh, I set you up for that one, didn't I? Oh, you like that? I could see.
No, there are two places that I love to play. One is Philadelphia, and the other one is Philadelphia.
Coming into town with this band and coming into Philadelphia, is it a comforting feeling, or are you nervous?
It's great. It's just amazing to be working together, and it just seems like yesterday that it was actually yesterday we played, so it just seems like yesterday. I'm sorry, it's nearly 9 o'clock, and
What is it about Philadelphia in this band's music anyway?
I don't know.
Where does all this
Philadelphia,
come from?
it's just like a home from home, just...
Well, you know what? I got an idea. Let's find the answer to that question.
Hey,
All right, hang on.
Need an answer.
Hang on.
See you later, John.
Okay. I'll be right back. I ain't going far. All right. is where I get to do my Donahue act. All right.
The roving.
Okay. What is it about Philadelphia and their music?
They've just always been very popular in this town.
Well, that much we figured out. They know that too. All right. Here we go. Give me another one. Here we go over here. All right, we're talking Yes, Not Yes. We're talking Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman Howe. We're talking what is it about their music?
Yes is fabulous, man.
Yeah.
Now, that brings up, of course, the age-old question. You're doing a show here in Philadelphia, Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, and Howe, an evening of Yes music and more. Is that the way it's being built?
Yeah, an evening of Yes music plus.
Plus.
That's right.
Plus.
Other things. Plus a lot of new music from a new band called Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman Howe.
Now, how did this formation come about?
I think it was my fault. I was.
It was his fault.
It was my. No, I just rang up Bill. I was just having a really nice time in Greece and doing some recording with my friend Vangelis, and I realized that music is like very important sometimes in your life, and like it would be great to get together with the guys again and really try to make some different kind of music instead of. I was working in Los Angeles for a while, and it's a very sort of pro top 10 kind of town, that everything's designed to be successful, success. And music really isn't all about success. Music is really about feelings and stuff. Universal energy and stuff like that. So getting back together with Bill, we haven't performed together on stage for 15 years. It's amazing to work together because all of a sudden you just do that and it just happens. It's quite remarkable.
Now,
Well said. Extremely well put.
Thank you very much.
Now, Bill.
He turned to me when he was, in absolute need of a drummer that was guaranteed to get nowhere near the top 10 whatsoever. Who does he call? Me.
Now, brother of mine, when I came up to Bearsville to hear the final mix, you told me a great story of brother of mine, and I never really related that story to the audience because I would, in the hopes that one day you would be on the show and you'd be able to tell it yourself.
That's a good line. This is very good. What a guy.
Is it that
I just
story?
raved about the record. If you want, I could take that back.
No, it's no, it's fine.
John, which story is it? Be careful.
It's coming. When I was living in Los Angeles, I was very fortunate enough to meet some people, American Indian people, and they're very incredible people. I got to tell you, it's just once you meet them and you're welcomed into their life, it changes you, extraordinary. And when I went back to London, I rang up Steve Howe, and we hadn't seen each other for maybe 8 years. I went around to his house. I walked into his house, and on the walls, he has all these Navajo Indian paintings that he's been saving over the last 8 years. And it's as though I'd gone one sort of route to meet with our brothers of this planet, and he'd gone another way to meet with the brothers of the planet. And the first song he played to me was Brother of Mine. I thought it was a very sort of strong identification that me and Steve used to be very, very close when we did Close to the Edge and Fragile and Topographic, And, here we were again, meeting together and deciding to get close together again and write songs together. And the first song he played was Brother of Mine. And I realized there was a lot of impact in the idea that we were working together like brothers again. And what we were trying to say musically, that in this wonderful world, there are brothers and sisters. And we're all brothers and sisters on this wonderful little planet. It's a very small, beautiful planet. And that was what really the song was all about.
Is that the story he told you?
That is the story.
It's not the story he told me.
Although the paintings part was new.
Oh, that's
I haven't
good.
heard the paintings part again, but for the most part, that was the story. Now, when I last saw you, we were in London, and you were in the midst of a big jazz project.
Yes, I still am in the midst of a jazz project. One of the great things about being a little older as a musician is that, well, just a little bit older, is that, you play sometimes in a couple of different styles. I also run my own ongoing jazz project, as you call it, a band called Earthworks, which coincidentally has an LP out this week.
This week?
It does indeed, yeah, in the US. And that runs at the same time as this. This is, we move fast, and occasionally we see our families, but not very often.
Now, once this tour is over with, will you be able to tour with Earthworks?
Indeed so, yeah. I've just come from Germany with that band.
All right. We're going to take care of a little bit of business and be right back with Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman Howe, or John and Bill, for that matter. We're live at the Trump Plaza Casino Hotel in Atlantic City.
We're live at the Trump Plaza Hotel here in Atlantic City.
With Bill Bruford and John Anderson.
Can you play drums?
Can I play drums? Terribly. Can you play drums?
I play drums occasionally, yeah.
Could this be one of the occasions? Just a little.
No.
Just a little.
Oh, you have to wait. No.
A roll. A drum roll.
No.
A little bummer-da-bummer-da.
No, you have to come along to the show tonight to see the real thing.
See, if you don't do a little bummer-da-bummer-da, right, a little bummer-da-bummer-da, my chances of coaxing him are even smaller. Bummer-da-bummer-da.
That was very good.
All right. Lesson one.
See, I improvised round your theme, bumba-da-bumba-da.
That was lesson one on putting someone on the spot. Lesson two. John, when we were up at Bearsville,
Yeah.
we were standing in the hallway.
Yeah.
Just before I had Sean convinced that I was walking out with a copy of the album.
Yeah.
And I said to you, you know, there's that one song on this new record that's, I would do anything in the world to someday have you and a piano play alone.
What was it? What? I don't remember.
It was the one, it was the most angelic song on the record, and I didn't know the title then.
I don't know. I
No.
don't know. Yeah. Quartet. That takes.
Pretend.
That's 10 minutes of,
Well, how about some? Now, later on today, you're going to be there in
I
Philadelphia.
was nearly there then. I was just going to sing.
Well, would you like to use the Roland?
I can't play. I never played in front of people.
Well, if you pick something, I bet you Andy could play it.
Let me see. What key is it in? Now, what I'll do, I'll whistle tails. Are you ready?
You're going to whistle?
Yeah, I can do it. He doesn't believe me. I can do it. Sorry. Okay. What time is it? Hey. Soon. I can't even sing. No, it's too early.
What about?
Well, I started then. He went soon.
What about something that we could involve the whole band in that is short and easy? Like, Give Me Some Lovin'.
Give Me Some Lovin'.
You know, this one.
I don't know that. Thank goodness this isn't live.
Oh, it is. You're live right now.
Is this live?
Yes. John Anderson, Bill Bruford, Flaming Caucasians with Pat Godwin, 93.3 WMMR. Later on today, they're going to do an in-store wall-to-wall on South Street. You can go down there and meet them, get your album signed and everything. And then, of course, tonight at the Spectrum, Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, and Howe. We'll be back right after this.
Tonight, Rockline is an evening with John Anderson, Rick Wakeman, and Steve Howe. John, Rick, and Steve are in our Boston Rockline studio. I'm in our Hollywood Rockline studio. So get your questions ready and call us toll-free in the U.S. and Canada at 1-800-344-ROCK. That's 1-800-344-7625. One number toll-free from anywhere in North America. Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, Howe. It's a long name for a band, but whatever you call these gentlemen, we know who they are, where they've been, and now, more importantly, where they're headed to. And what a delightful surprise to see them together again after all this time. It's a pleasure for Rockline to welcome John Anderson. John, welcome back to the program.
Hi, Bob. How are you there?
I'm doing fine, doing great tonight. Glad to have you back, my friend. Also with you, Rick Wakeman. Rick, welcome to Rockline. Welcome to Rockline.
Well, that's very good. That's very good. It's great to be here. Thank you very much.
And also with you, Steve Howe. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hi there, Bob. How you doing?
I'm doing fine tonight. First question I'll throw to John, I guess. How did the reunion come about? Would seem to be the obvious start, John. How did you guys get back together?
Well, actually, it's very simple. It was just a series of phone calls, and everybody felt that it was a good time to get together again and make music together. It was just something that happened the summer of last year, and I think like anything, once you feel that you should move on and do music that you feel more from the heart, the doors start to open up, and it was a great moment to realize that everybody felt the same way about making some good albums and going on tour together.
Well, you've come up with a really solid record, and we're going to hear quite a bit of it tonight. I'll throw the next question to Rick. How does it feel being out on stage right now with these guys, and how have you been received so far on the tour that started about a week and a half ago?
It's been marvellous. It's been 10 years since I've played with Steve and John. In fact, 17 years since with Bill as well. And I never really realised, and especially till we went out on stage, how much I've missed it. It's been very nostalgic. Marvellous music. I think the band's playing excellently, and I have to say that the people who have come to see us have just been, beyond belief. It really does bring tears to the eyes.
You have
it has been honestly fantastic.
That's great to hear. You have exuberant and enthusiastic fans, to say the least.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Steve, next one goes to you.
Okay.
Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, Howe. Did you consider coming up with another name as opposed to being self-titled? And was there what was the consideration in choosing the name?
Well, it was very clear cut what you're going to get if the band's called Anderson, Wakeman, Bruford, Howe. So in a way, it kind of condensed the idea of calling it other names, which were somehow maybe would only apply for a little while. We thought about a couple of names, but I think that we were all very happy with that one. It made sense. It rung true. So.
We liked the Beatles, didn't we?
That one had been taken, unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you are right. Everybody knows who you are, Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, Howe. We're going to play a song right now from the self-titled album. This is Order of the Universe on Rockline on the Global Satellite Network. And welcome back to Rockline. It's an evening with John Anderson, Rick Wakeman, and Steve Howe. By the way, they will be in concert tomorrow night in Manchester, New Hampshire at the Riverfront Park, then Wednesday night in Middletown, New York at the Orange County Fairgrounds, followed by a date in Wonton, New York, Jones Beach Theater on Thursday night. Then you'll find them Friday in Hartford, Connecticut at the Civic Center, and Saturday at Old Orchard Beach, Maine, the Performing Arts Center, and then Sunday night in Homedale, New Jersey at the Garden State Arts Center. Right now, a call from Reno, Nevada. Our first for the guys tonight is Steve, and he is a listener of 105.7 KOZZ. Good evening and welcome.
Hello, Bob.
Thank you.
And hello, John, Rick, and Steve.
Yo.
How you doing?
I'd like to ask the band about the tour, and in particular about the stage production and how Martin Dean got involved in the project.
Well, Martin got involved because Roger Dean had done the sleeve, and then Martin is in fact a stage designer, so it seemed quite appropriate to put him in the job, and he did a very good job, very, very good, and incorporated new ideas, helpful ideas, and images, I suppose.
There you go, Steve, and thank you for calling and being on tonight. We appreciate it. We're going to move now to Philadelphia and speak with John. And John is a listener of 94 WYSP. Welcome to Rockline.
Hi, guys.
Yo.
How are you doing?
Hi there.
The spirit of yes lives on.
True.
Okay. I've got two main questions and then a real quickie for Steve Howe, okay? All right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, do it.
All right. First of all, I want to ask how Tony Levin was picked to be the bass guitarist for the new band.
I think Bill Bruford approached me when we talked about the idea of a bass player. He said he worked with Tony many times and found him to be very, very talented and very professional. And that's exactly what we were looking for, somebody to come in with the right spirit and the right energy. And hopefully you saw our show in Philadelphia. He plays great, you know.
Bill and Tony were in King Crimson together. How come his name isn't in the title? Was there a chance that it will be at some point?
I don't know. It's one of those things that we augmented the band with 3 extra musicians, including Tony, when we put the album together, and it just seemed more logical to stick with the 4 names for the moment. And who knows, you know, what's going to be happening in the next year or so. We're just very excited that we found people to work with to help us put the show together, and that's the main thing.
And John, what else did you have tonight?
Okay, I wanted to ask John, why is it that you didn't write much for Yes once you rejoined them? You know, specifically the Big Generator album.
It was, well, actually, on the Big Generator album, I did write a lot of ideas, and but I wasn't there in the formation of the music. This was a feeling that Trevor and Chris felt they'd enjoyed making 90125 as a group before I joined that album, and felt that they could do exactly the same on the Big Generator album. It's just a different way of working, really.
And John, you had one for Steve, too?
Yeah. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, is GTR still functioning, or is that, like, out of existence?
No, been a couple of years now. It's been completely out of existence, yeah, since about September or something. Well, 86 was, we finished European tours at the end of September 86. And then we just pushed it on for a few months into the next year, and then we stopped doing it. It just didn't materialize, the second album, and we were changing horses in midstream a bit, going off different ways, so we didn't carry on, I'm sorry to say.
John, thank you for being on. Thanks for all your questions tonight. We're going to talk now with someone in Moncton, New Brunswick. His name is Bonzo, and he's listening to Rock 103 CJMO. Hi there.
Hi, how you doing?
Yo,
how you doing, guys?
Bonzo.
Hi.
Okay, Rick.
Yes, sir.
My question's for you. Okay, after splitting up with Yes, you seem to be pretty invisible in the 80s. And I was just wondering what you've been up to lately as far as music is concerned.
Right, well, I'll make it very condensed because it's 10 years, really. Basically what happened was I signed to a record company called Charisma for a worldwide deal. And sadly, shortly after I joined them, they lost their franchise for America, which meant that I suddenly had albums that were coming out over Europe that never saw the light of day in America. In fact, one of which John very kindly came and sang on for me. And that's really what's been happening over the last 10 years. I've been concentrating on doing films, solo albums in the UK for European base, of which a few have sort of slowly trickled out here, but you know, nothing of note. In fact, I think there's about 11 albums short of being released over here.
Oh, my goodness. So head for the import section of your favorite store there, Bonzo, and thanks for the call. We're going to talk now with Glenn in Dix Hills, New York, listening to 92.3 K-Rock. Hi.
Hello there. This is Glenn Galby from Yes Magazine. Nice to
How you
meet
doing,
you.
sir?
I've got 2 questions for you tonight. The first one, you have a remarkable treasure of music to choose from to perform live, quite a large catalog. Was it very difficult deciding what songs to perform and what not to perform, and how did you arrive at that decision?
Okay, we'll start with that.
Yeah, well, the idea was as soon as we sat down to discuss the potential show, I suggested that I would really like to do Close to the Edge. And I think Steve said, well, Andrew and I, and Rick said Starship Trooper, and Bill said All Good People. So actually, it didn't take long to decide that we wanted to do songs that we all love, because it's part of our heritage, and there's a lot of pride involved about that kind of music. We actually wrote it and recorded it a long time ago, and it's got a classic style to it, and we wanted to keep that energy going.
And what else, Glenn?
And the second one, what songs on the new album are most indicative of the direction that the band is headed in? And also, do you have any favorite songs on the new album?
It's very difficult to say that. I think the whole album is indicative of the way that we're going, that the fact that we that it's very much performance from everybody. I've said recently that I feel within the band there is a 1990s Close to the Edge waiting to come out. And I think that this album's a good step on the way. My personal, when I first went down to Paris and heard what John had been putting together, Birthright completely knocked me out when I heard it. I just thought that was tremendous. And Fist of Fire I like a lot as well. But I mean, I love the whole album, but Birthright really hit me hard when I went down and heard it for the first time.
We're going to try and play Birthright a little later on this evening, as a matter of fact. Glenn, thanks for the call. There are a bunch of Yes magazines worldwide, about 8 to 10, and the Yes magazine that he was with is definitely one of the best. We appreciate the call. We're going to play now a Rockline medley of some of the music these gentlemen have created together. We thought you might enjoy this. Since most of the songs run so long and we couldn't play everything, we thought, why not a medley tonight? Here it is. We're with John Anderson, Rick Wakeman, and Steve Howe from Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman Howe. We have a call from Vancouver, British Columbia. It's Tanya on the line, and she's a listener of 99.3 The Fox. Hi.
Hi, I wanted to ask Steve, are any of the tour dates being recorded for a future live album or for possible B-sides or future singles?
Hi, Tanya. I think we're doing some recording later in the tour, near the end of the tour.
We're doing a live show, actually. What's it called? Pay-per-view thingy.
Yeah, we're doing a few other projects that are kind of going to incorporate recording and possibly video and all that kind of thing. So you're going to be looking out for that stuff up there in Vancouver, are you?
Is that what you're going to do, Tanya?
We are, and we're just waiting for you to get up to this area, too.
Yeah, how's the weather?
We have to go down to California to see you.
Oh, I know. We're going to see you there.
Vancouver's fantastic. I love Vancouver.
Yeah.
It's a shame we're not down there.
Is that Tanya Code?
That's right.
Oh,
hello,
thanks
Tanya.
for your letters recently and your cards and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, good.
Real nice. I always get it. I always want to reply, but, you know, it's a lot, I get a lot of letters and I have to reply. I'm sure the rest of the guys would say the same if Rick wasn't clowning around with 2 cups over the
Yeah. Tanya, thank you for the call. We appreciate it. I have the Canadian date scheduled for the band. Toronto on the 22nd at the CNE Coliseum, then Ottawa at the Civic Centre the 23rd, Montreal at the Forum on the 24th, then Quebec City at the Coliseum de Quebec on the 25th of August. Now, when will the pay-per-view be available for us? Do you have any idea how long we'd have to wait for that?
First week in September, I believe.
First week in September.
Whenever the pay-per-view, the show is in, it's the September one. I think the Who is August, and we're September.
Okay, so mark that one down, everybody. And Tanya, thanks for the call. It's Michael's turn. Let's go to Memphis. Rock 103 is our station there. Michael, you're on the show.
Hey, Rick, Steve, John, how's it going?
Fine, thank you, sir.
All right.
We caught your show in Memphis, but we had to sit in a boat in the river because we couldn't get tickets.
Oh.
My first question is to Rick. Is Journey to the Center of the Earth available on CD?
Yes,
the next
sir.
question is, why did you pick Memphis for your first tour date, and would you guys consider recording an album here in Memphis?
Well, I can answer the Journey. Yes, apparently it is. A&M have just released Journey on CD. Cause the only reason I know, because to be honest, they didn't tell me. The only reason I know is because a few people have showed up with it at some concerts, so I do know it does exist here. John.
Oh, it's me. Memphis, Tennessee. The idea of playing Memphis as a starting point was a lot to do with you've got to get in front of an audience sooner or later, and there's no better place than down Memphis way, you know. And Elvis Presley was a great inspiration for a lot of us, and the idea of coming to Memphis and performing there on Mud Island, I mean, it's a beautiful little spot, and it just got us going, and the audience was so good, and
they were fantastic.
Yeah, they were great, and it just made us feel like a bit more confident about what we're doing.
And the other part was, would you ever record there? A lot of bands go there to record now, and have in years gone by, too.
It could be nice to do things there. And it's a good, it's got a lot of heritage as far as great recordings made, you know, by people like Otis Redding, I think, and Steve Cropper and Booker T, and there's a lot of things happening around Nashville, Memphis. In fact, Tennessee is a great state anyway, so hello to everybody in Tennessee.
All right, there you go, Michael. Thank you for being on. And is somebody going to say something? I don't mean to cut you off.
No, that's right. I was just going to say it will always be very special to us, because after 17 years of the 4 of us actually performing together, the first place that we walked onto a stage, which will always be very memorable, was Mud Island in Memphis.
Oh,
so it will remain very special.
There you go. My guests tonight, John, Rick, and Steve, are in Boston. I'm in our Hollywood Rockline studio. We're going to talk with Alan now in Raleigh, North Carolina. He's the listener of WRDU 106. You're on the Rockline, Alan.
Hi, guys. It's an honor and a privilege. Close to the just moved me to tears since I was 7 years old.
The records that dear up there, are they?
I know, I'm only 27, so.
Oh, great.
Okay, I've got two questions. I saw you Saturday on the 5th of August. It was a dream come true, I'll tell you, and after all these years. But why did you do Owner of a Lonely Heart when Bruford, Wakeman, Howe had virtually nothing to do with that song?
I think that was just my introduction to the audience, that it was a time span idea, that Time and a Word was the first song that I would sing. And I felt that I've gone through a lot of changes over the years, and one of the songs that I know the audience enjoys is Owner of a Lonely Heart, and I felt like singing it acoustically, and then I went into one of the songs from the new album. I think that was just something that I wanted to experience. It seems to go down very well, and the audiences really enjoy the idea of doing an acoustic version.
There you go, Alan. And do you have anything else on your mind tonight before I cut you loose?
Yeah, one of the questions. The non-LP release, Vultures, that's an incredible little piece. What besides, pardon me, Bruford, the Busy Drumming, why was it cut besides Busy Drumming? To me, that was the only reason it would have been cut. I've grown to love that tune.
It's one of those songs, we actually recorded 1 hour and a half of music all together, and it's very hard to get it all onto a CD. So the idea was it was a song that Steve actually sent to me when I was just doing some overdubs in Montserrat, and it just hit a certain nerve in my idea of a musical scope. So it was just a great piece to put together, and it's nice to be able to get it on the B-side. And it's just that little bit more music available.
That is the B-side of Brother of Mine, Vultures, is the song that Alan was referring to, just in case you didn't know. Are there others? Are there other songs that may be released as B-sides?
Well, there are a couple more, and it's a question of timing, I suppose. We'll just have to wait and see. We've even started writing now on tour, so it's a very full of music sort of band. There's a lot of ideas flying around. It's really good.
We are with the prolific John Anderson, Rick Wakeman, and Steve Howe. This is Brother of Mine on Rockline. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, and Howe, Brother of Mine on Rockline. We're with Steve, Rick, and John from the band. Our next call is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's Frank, a listener of WDVE. Good evening and welcome, Frank.
Hi, guys.
Yo.
Hi there.
Hi.
Yeah, I was at the concert in Harrisburg last Wednesday and the one in Philadelphia at the Spectrum.
Good.
Mesmerizing, awesome, beautiful work. But I was wondering, and any one of you can answer this, are you planning on adding or dropping songs, changing the set as the tour goes on? Because I've got tickets for next week, too, Tuesday and Wednesday.
I'd kind of like to see a different show, huh, Frank?
Okay. Yeah, we'll organize it for you, Frank.
Are you changing the set list as you go on, or are you pretty well staying with it?
We're just fine honing at the moment. In fact, when we first went on stage, as we talked about Memphis, we went on with 3 hours of music, and it just seemed a little too long for everybody to sort of grapple with. So we've honed it down to about
25 minutes.
25 minutes, yeah. So it will be a similar show. I wouldn't say I'm not going to tell any fibs. It'll be the same show, but it'll be better.
There you go, Frank. And boy, talk about a fan. He's going to shows all over the country there.
I know.
Frank, we appreciate it. We're going to talk now with Kathy in Charlotte, North Carolina, listener of 95.7 The Rock. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, guys.
How you doing?
Did you ever think about using Eddie Alford as producer?
Yeah, actually, Eddie did ring us around the time we were discussing the formation of the band and stuff. But it just worked out that it wasn't going to work exactly the way we wanted to go and work in America. We felt more European in terms of putting the album together, and that really set us up to really start the album without any producer at all. That was the idea. So I took the reins a little bit of the idea. So, we love Eddie very much. He's a great guy.
You and Chris Kimsey did a nice job on that, John. And Kathy, thank you for the call. We're going to talk to Rob now. Rob is in Middlebury, Vermont, and he's a listener of 106 WIZN in Burlington. Rob, you're on the Rockline.
Hello, John.
Hey.
How you doing?
Hi.
Hello, Steve. How are you?
Okay, thanks. Hello to Rick.
Hello there.
Hey, Rick, how are you doing?
Fine,
I'd like
thank
to
you,
say
sir.
all three of you are some of my greatest creative influences. You've really been great.
That's nice.
What's the question?
I was wondering about John. You were commenting on a song called Shoot High, Aim Low, and about how it was about how, like, relating to the potential of life beyond war, and about how mankind used to live beyond war, but then we forgot, but now we're remembering. And I'm wondering, how do you see mankind moving into the 90s and progressing into the next millennia?
Well, I'm totally optimistic. I know that it's one of the things that we all feel very strongly about, that we all need a little bit more peace in the world, and it's going to come, and that's the way I feel about it. So I got to be simple and basic about this situation. While a lot of things are happening around us, we're going through an amazing time of readjustment towards the year 2000, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, certainly will, Rob. Thank you for the call. We appreciate it. Call us again sometime. Themes, that is the song that opens the Anderson Bruford Wakeman Howe CD on Rockline. I'm Bob Coburn, and we're with, right now, Steve Howe and Rick Wakeman and John Anderson. And our next phone call is Janet in Naples, Florida, listener of 96 K-Rock in Fort Myers, Florida. And Janet, you're on the show with us. Hi.
Hi. How you all doing?
Fine, thanks.
Fine.
We're fine, yeah.
John, first I got to tell you, I have almost every record you recorded, and I love them all.
Thank you so much.
I want to quickly ask, did you have any problems with the record companies and the fact that your songs were 8 to 10 minutes long? And also I want to ask, why aren't you coming to Florida?
Well, first question, we were very fortunate to be with a record company that believes in what we're doing, and so there was no restrictions on the music, amount of music we played, and how long it would exercise itself. Music is like that. If you can just let it go, it'll sing to you. So the radio stations have been very helpful too. So we've had very, very good response. As far as playing Florida, I'm sure that it's one of those things, if we could tour everywhere, we would do. But for the moment, we're just doing this kind of tour, and there's certain places that we're missing. And maybe we keep our fingers crossed we can come back early next year or middle of next year sometime and come down there. Because wherever we play, it's always wonderful. You know what I'm saying, Steve?
Very good, Janet.
No, I agree.
Steve loves driving around there.
Yeah, we miss Florida this year. We only got as far as Atlanta or somewhere like that, as far as going that corner of the world. But another time.
Keep your hopes up there, Janet. Maybe so. Thanks for the call. Let's talk now with JB as we head to Marissa, Illinois. He's listening to KC95 in St. Louis. JB, you're on the Rockline.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Yo.
Thanks, yeah.
Yo, we're okay.
Hey, I just want to ask you, what do you feel are your priorities for the future? Your solo efforts or continue with this new group? And I'd like to add to John that I thought your City of Angels album was great. Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, we want to keep a balance, you know, we want to keep directions, and lots of directions out for the band, and also directions out for us as the other projects which have always been there, but now are more relevant now today, that we get on and do other things as well as besides the band. There you are.
There you go, JB. Thank you. Let me pass on the other half dozen venues that I have for the band. They will be in Costa Mesa at the Pacific Coast Amphitheater on the 5th of November, then the 6th and 7th at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles, followed by a Santa Barbara, California date at the County Bowl on the 8th. Then Mountain View, California at the Shoreline Amphitheater the 9th of September, Sacramento on the 10th at the Cal Expo Amphitheater, and then Concord at the Concord Pavilion on the 11th. Now, my guests this evening are in Boston. I'm in our Hollywood Rockline studio, and John and Steve are in one studio, and we have now sent Rick to his room, and Rick is going to play something live for us. Rick, why don't you set it up and then just take it away?
Yeah, well, they said they got a piano here. Actually, it's in the bar next door.
Okay, he's just coming along. He's rushing in the room. He's got a bucket of water on his left shoulder. And
well, I have to say, here in this year, they've got a beautiful Steinway
He's sitting
piano.
down at the piano. It's a remarkable occasion.
Yes, it is.
He's sitting down at the piano.
He's actually moving his lips yet. He's not got the cue. I think Rick's going to get the cue any second.
Oh, I haven't put the lid up.
There he is.
There's the lid. I can hear the lid.
That's the lid. Yeah, this is a piece that, before anybody asks, you can't buy because it was never released here. It's a piece I originally wrote back in the early 80s, a piano piece called Gone But Not Forgotten, which is pretty poignant for us all being back together again. although it has been heavily rumoured that it's got more to do with my golf balls than anything else. So this is a little piano piece I wrote ages ago called Golf.
And welcome back to what has turned out to be a very fun evening tonight. We have Christine on the line to talk with our guests, John Anderson, Rick Wakeman, and Steve Howe. She's in Tampa, Florida, listening to 95 YNF. Christine, welcome to the Rockline.
Hi, everyone. How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay, my question, I guess I'll direct it to John. How did the catalog number become 90126? Was that planned, or was it just a coincidence?
I think that was just a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek thing from Arista Records. We didn't actually find out about it until the album was released. It's just a little bit of fun, it's interrelated fun with the record companies, I suppose.
So we're calling the next one 24 Hours from Tulsa.
Christine, thanks for the call. And she noticed, yes, and people are starting to notice that.
Good spotting. Well done for that.
Yeah, really. Good job there, Christine. Let's speak with Joe now in New York City, listening to 92.3 K-Rock. You're on the show, Joe.
Yeah, good evening.
Hi.
Hi.
Yo.
Wondering why America, I think one of the greatest tunes you guys have ever recorded, is never performed live in concert.
Well, I can't think of a good excuse for it. I mean, I'm very sorry and all that.
We did do it a couple of times.
We did it a couple of times in America, but then we didn't really have quite time. We couldn't quite build it into our thinking at right this moment. So hopefully another time or something like that might happen. We might do it. I agree. It's a fine piece. It's a fine bit of arranging from the group. And,
it's a beautiful song.
It's a lovely song to work on. Once you've got material that good, then...
One of the nice things is, it sounds strange, but there is so much to choose from that that's what makes it so much fun. But there's obviously certain pieces, get left out.
Yeah, there are other radio stations, that could be listening to it, Rick. I mean, you've got to keep it interesting.
Joe, there you go. Thanks for being on. We appreciate it. Now, stop that. Stop it. Just stop it. Thanks to everybody for listening and calling tonight. Our Rockline address is P.O. Box 4383, Hollywood, California, 90078. Next week, Billy Squire. And then coming soon, Trevor Rabin, also Foreigners Mick Jones, the Jefferson Airplane, Aerosmith. And then in September, this has been moved back a couple of weeks, a 2-hour special edition of Rockline with John Cougar Mellencamp. Special thanks tonight to Brian Lane, Pete Smith, and Josh Warner of Sun Arts Music Limited, to Sean Coakley and Tom Innes at Arista Records, to Lauren Karasik and John Vosi, and Jeff Turton and Ray Fallon, and our entire Boston Rockline production team at WGBH, to our friends at WAAF in Worcester, and of course to John Anderson, Rick Wakeman, and Steve Howe. It's been fun, you guys. A great record. Good luck on the tour, and thanks for being here tonight, all right?
Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having us, and it's always great to be on Rockline.
You're welcome anytime. For making us welcome. It's very
nice. See you tomorrow night in Manchester. Great, guys.
I'm BC. I'll be seeing you in a week.